Good evening, it's Norma Cowie here with Mental Mind Treatments. For those who perhaps are watching this for the first time, this is a method of prayer that I have used for many, many years. I searched for a long time to find a prayer method that I thought was effective, workable, and easily doable. And I found that, and I have utilized it for years. Now, because I am a working psychic as well, what I find sometimes with my mental prayers is that what I do is find other information that comes in, or I dig a little deeper, whatever it is. So every prayer is personal, different, and works in many, many different ways. So I invite you to let me know if there is anything that you would like a prayer for. I call them mental mind treatments because when I first originally learned this prayer method, they were called spiritual mind treatments. But I realized because of the psychic ability that comes with this often, that makes it a little different, that I would call it mental mind treatment. Why? Is because in our subconscious, that is what we need to change. That is what we need to become aware of and clear the different elements, the different things that we may have that are mostly our habits, actually, that are blocking us achieving what we want. So I decided I would call this mental mind treatments because we're dealing with the mind. We're altering the mental thinking process. And so I welcome you to let me know through the keyboards what exactly you want. So our first person that we have on here live is Karen. Thank you, Karen, for being here once more. She says, greetings, Norma. I would love a treatment for a more expanded consciousness. Love it. So, okay, so let me get ready. Let's see. I'm just going to write this down and just so sometimes my mind gets a little forgetful, and we want to make sure we don't forget this. Is more expanded consciousness. And I think anybody who wants to piggyback on this one is really important. This is an important one because we need sometimes to change our perspective, to change the direction of how we perceive things. And usually that relates to what we believe. So it's in changing the belief systems. So here we go. First mental mind treatment of the night. I know that there is one power and there is one essence. And so I speak my word for Karen. And as I speak my word for Karen in that connection of the one power, the one light, the one aspect, I know that Karen's consciousness is expanding gently and easily into a much more awareness of how everything comes together. This seems to be a way of having things fit rather than having A, B, C, all separated. It's like A and B and C. So we can make the connections as they come together. I know that in this more expanded consciousness is actually more ease, that things flow, that the connections from this to that make much more sense. The awareness of how what we call the light or the loving energy works becomes more conclusive, more aware, more a part of everything. There's the knowing that there's no real blocks about this, but an awareness of expansion and that everything is connected. No matter how, what, when, and where, it is all connected. And in the connection is how everything fits into place. I give thanks for this understanding. I give thanks for the understanding for Karen, but also for anybody else who listens that feels the need for that expanded consciousness, that expanded awareness. So I release this thought to unfold into the light, into the love, into the knowingness, and I release it knowing it is done by saying, and so it is. Amen. Okay, so basically, and you just type in what you want and I go from there. And if I need a little bit more information, I'll ask so that you can put that in too. I usually have a list of other people that are not can't be here at 7. And thank you, Karen. Uh, so anyway, the first person I'm going to read for, and because they're not on live, I usually give their first initial. The first one is for Miss C. Now, I want to say, actually, I have a number in here for wanting financial security, independence, etc. So I find that really, really interesting as well. Okay, this is for Miss C. I know there is one power and there is one essence in all things. And I know that we are connected together. And in that connection, I speak my word for Crystal. And as I speak my word for Crystal, actually, I gave her a name. I meant to say Miss C. I know that financial security and therefore independence is there. It is there and it feels like around the corner. So it means having a different perspective, having a different awareness, and releasing fear and releasing dependency on others. It is about knowing the power lies within you. As the power in you strengthens and deepens and broadens within yourself, that it becomes much easier to turn that corner and allow the financial security to flood actually into you, because there it is about different perspective, a different awareness, a different look, a different light, so that everything flows in such a whole different way. I give thanks and knowing that it is only by expansion and allowing the financial, I'm going to say secrets almost, come in. So we're not caught up with old thinking, old feelings, old awareness. It's like we're eradicating them, we're scrubbing them clean. Just like a pot, scrubbing the pot clean. It's like scrubbing that area in your life clean so that financial security and independence can just come in naturally and easily. And as I said before, it's like it floods in. It's waiting, it's waiting, it's waiting. But perspective has to shift into a different direction. I give thanks in the knowing of this and in releasing this thought out unto the ethers of being, of time and space. I know this will be done. And so it is. Oh, thank you. I'm also going to do a treatment for Miss J. As I move into the oneness, the strength and the power, as I speak my word for Miss J, I know that the spiritual support and clarity is there. It is about taking a moment of just being aware, having a sense of knowing that the spiritual support is there, that the spiritual clarity is there, that the spiritual awareness is there, without doubt, without question, without trying to figure things out, but allowing it to flow and guide you in the directions of where and what is the highest and best for you. There is an element of needing the highest and best. There is an element of recognizing that all the support is there. It's allowing it to come through, allowing it to be there, allowing it to strengthen and deepen and broaden within you. I give thanks in knowing that the spiritual support is already there, but now it's a matter of becoming more aware of where and how that all fits in. And as that awareness of where and how it all fits in, there is just a release of so much little bitsy pieces in them that the mind kind of grabs on to. It's just trust, moving into trust, moving into faith, moving into the knowingness that, yes, I am supported from the spiritual realm in every way that I need, want, or desire. I give thanks in the knowing of this as I release this, knowing that it is true and it is done and that all is well. And so it is. Amen. Oh, that's sometimes when I do treatments, it's like it brings home to myself so much of the power that is there, how much we are loved individually, that we just have to allow into ourselves, how to trust what we know or the inspiration that comes in and how it comes in and where it comes in. Now, I'm going to move to another one on my list, which is a Miss D. I know that there is one power in the one essence that is there in everything, and therefore in ourselves, around ourselves, and moving through us. Our breath often is important. And as I speak my word for Miss D, I know that I need to breathe into faith. I need to breathe into a sense of being rather than a sense of worrying. As we allow the beingness to take place, the financial security, the business issues that are spinning around just get resolved. It's like, it's not exactly like a magic marker, with scraper, which just takes everything away, but it's like it resolves. It's like clarity coming in with a big C, clarity of awareness, clarity of knowledge. The clearer you are of how you want things to be, the clearer that you are, Ms. D, thinking, this is what I want, this is how I want it, the easier it comes to have that financial security and these business issues resolved. Resolution on many levels will be taking place around you in the next 2 weeks. Different thoughts are going to come into your mind, and you're going to wonder, where did that come from? And that is because you're on the connection of that grand force that is there, that gives you the clarity to see and to know what it is you need to do, what it is you need to take care of, what it is you need just to let slide. And when I say slide, I don't mean it's like sliding down a hill, but putting aside right now so that more what you're wanting can come in with ease and grace. I give thanks in knowing for Miss D that financial security is right on the horizon and now, and that business issues are resolved with such ease and grace by just being aware of different alternatives. And I give thanks and I release this, knowing it is true and done. Miss D can relax. It is being done. And so it is. Amen. The thought I had when I was doing this, sort of a thought I had in the background was, very often, especially when it comes to financial and business issues, we do it all mentally. We think it's a mental issue and we need to get it sorted out in a mental way. I remember because I ran a business and it tends to get very much, detail. But it's when we let go sometimes of the details and we move more into an allowingness for that answers to come and spring forward with clarity. And sometimes rather than seeking the answers and finding this is going to do it or that's going to do it, it's like relaxing and allowing everything to show itself. It's like some people have told me already they've got spring shoots in their gardens. That's what our ideas can do when we relax. is the garden. The subconscious will give you the answer. The energy that we call the divine energy, the loving energy, is there, and it will bring up an idea or a concept that you haven't even thought of. And that's the allowingness of space, allowing in the space in your mental processes so that it can work in a very, very effective way. And I give thanks in just even knowing that and being aware of that, because many times that's what resolved for me, was being able to just relax and let the ideas come. And then they work. So thank you. Thank you. Now, Ms. Maggie G says, hello, Norma. How to work on the monkey mind? Thank you. Well, I say a lot about the monkey mind, but just I hear my voice getting a bit hoarse, so I'm going to have a drink of water to make sure that my voice doesn't totally all of a sudden get hoarse and crack on me here. I noticed the last couple of weeks that's been a little bit that way, unfortunately. Sorry, I'm fine. I'm speaking fine. Then it all horses up. So I don't know what that. Okay. I'm going to pray or do the mental mind treatment regarding the monkey mind. But you must remember, it's your mind. And what you do with that mind is very, very important. So just hang on a sec, Maggie. I'm just going to make a note of that in my little book here. So I know there is one power and one essence that's in everything. And I therefore speak my word for Maggie. So I speak my word for Maggie G, I think it is here. I know that the busyness, which is sometimes called the monkey mind, the busyness of the mind needs to be cleared out. The monkey mind is very like the garden when it's got lots of weeds in it. And you may have heard me, if you listen to some of the other shows, especially Wednesdays, where I talk about what I call FER, F-E-R, freeze, evaporate, replace. So that when your mind is spinning on all sorts of ideas and going everything, you have to consciously watch it. And then when you have a thought that does not fit with your goals, so goal setting is very important, is that all of us, you can stop it, freeze it, and then evaporate the thought you don't want and replace it with what you do want. So I, in this moment of knowing that there is one force and one power and one essence that's within us all that we're connected to, creates relaxation so that you become aware of the thoughts that you have. And the thoughts which you want to support, you give energy to. And the thoughts that you don't want to support is that you freeze and you evaporate and you replace them. But it becomes easily so that you create quiet. It is in the quiet that the essence of you grows in such a beautiful way that it's like you see everything differently. You see the colors brighter. You hear, if there's birds singing, you hear them louder. Everything falls into a whole different place. There is about creating peace within. When the monkey mind is happening, you cannot be peaceful because it is just, I don't know, it's like 3 Ferris wheels all going at the same time. And it's like putting the brakes on. By asserting your own conscious strength, your own conscious willingness, your own conscious beingness. That means you've got to observe, taking a little time, even if it's only 5 minutes, to sit back and watch what is actually going across the consciousness. The consciousness is that part that comes up from the subconscious before it goes out. You give the thought out. The thoughts out that go out, which is that which is flitting around sometimes, is what creates your vibrational rate. So if there isn't peace, if there isn't quiet, if there isn't an ease in there, then you can wonder why you don't have peace and quiet and ease. Or if you do have that and then the monkey mind starts, then it's still the same process. It's choice, making a choice of what you're wanting to create and what you're not wanting to create. And when you're muddled, like involved in the monkey mind, you don't even know what you're choosing, because the remember, every thought goes towards your vibrational rate of who you are, and that vibrational rate goes out, and the universe and their loving kindness brings that back to you because you ask for it. That's how you ask, through the mind. And then the energy from the feelings that you have, the passion that you have, the awareness that you have, where you put as much energy into the thought, it comes back faster. So it really is important to grab hold of the basic feeling. You can't do the thinking process. You can't do it all the time. You have to take pockets of time, and yes, and actually even 5 minutes when you first begin can be very, very tiring to be aware. Is that a thought I want or I don't want? A freeze, evaporate, replace. It gets very, very tiresome, but you just do it in little blocks. And then after a while, your subconscious begins to wake up. It says, oh, we don't really there's not much energy on that thought. We don't need that. And so everything begins to shift and change. So you have to have also in this, Maggie, patience. It doesn't happen like that. And if anybody tells you that it does, I would question what's happening. But with a little bit of perseverance, with a little bit of patience and a little bit of conscious awareness, you can scrub out, direct, evaporate, whatever you want to call it, the thoughts that you do not want to support. You give them no energy. So they just literally die on the vine, so to speak. And you begin then to create what you want to create, how you want to create it, how you want it to look like. So in the knowingness through this talking and the knowing that this power is within you, I give thanks. I give thanks in knowing that there is a connection to the power. I give thanks in knowing that you have the willingness to begin to spend a little time every day to really see what it is you're thinking and where the power is going. I give thanks in you knowing, having clarity about your life, about what's going on, and only begin to move towards that which you want so that you can rejoice in knowing that what you want will be given. Patience is a virtue, as they say, but here patience is important because you're changing lifetime of habits. It can be done if you're willing, if you're kind to yourself, if you're patient with yourself, and you have all the awareness that you want in relation to what you want to do and how you want to do it. So I release this thought knowing it's true and it is done. Maggie G has quiet. Maggie G is in command of her thinking process, and Maggie G reaps the rewards of her life because the thought is usually the dictator of what's going on. I give thanks as I release this by saying, and so it is. Thank you, Maggie. Now, I've actually going to go to a Miss C here. I don't have a lot of names here, but we're still moving through. I'm going to speak my word for Miss C. And as I speak my word, I know that the deeper connection to the light is strengthening with every breath that is taken. There is a saying of you breathe in light and you breathe out fear, or you breathe in light and you breathe out what you don't want. Breath is important here. It is the breathing in and the breathing out that gives us a sense of continuity in the light. Light equaling love, universal love. It's the allowing in the universal love without fear of what it means or what it will entail. Universal love is only there to support you and bring you the peace and the contentment that you prefer and want. And so I give thanks in knowing that with the breath, that Miss C can have a deeper connection to the light, and that things become clearer and clearer and clearer. So I release this thought for Miss C, knowing that it is done and it is one, by saying, and so it is. Amen. I now speak my word for Miss M. As I speak my word for Miss M, I know that personal goals are easily attained. Regardless of the thoughts about how they're supposed to be attained, how they're going to be reached, I know that by knowing, just the knowing that they're there, takes the worry, takes the concentration, and allows the universe to work its magic. There's a song, I think, says something about there's magic in the air. It's what I'm hearing around me. Magic in the air, everywhere. I wish I could sing. And my singing voice seems to have lost me these days. But it's like knowing that the magic of love, the magic of knowing how it works, is like a letting go process. It's like a trapeze artist high up there doing all sorts of acrobatics, and then comes back down onto earth, and all is well. And that means we don't try to figure out how, what, when, and where. We don't do that. We just know that personal goals are reached because you are loved beyond measure, because that's what you want, and the universe will give it to you from somewhere, somehow, someplace. It's facts, and allow them to show up. So I guess patience is involved a bit here too, for you to relax. But in the patience is peace. The P and P, the patience, peace, because it's personal. 3 P's. There we go. Personal, patience, and peace. There we go. Equals peace. Oh, I'm getting it down. It's coming. It's like all things that's coming into fruition. And so I give thanks and knowing that Miss M will have the personal goals easily reached by being patient and persistent, and her knowing, in the knowingness, not how, it's not how, it's persistent in knowing it will be. It will be. And I give thanks as I release this thought by knowing it will be, and so it is. Yeah. The last one I have on here is for Mr. J. I know there is one power and one essence. And I know that as I speak my word for Mr. J, that a letting go of grief and despair is not easy when one is addicted to the grief and despair. It's like I'm hanging onto a thread. It's not even a big rope, it's a thread. And I know that as we let go of the thread and allow the love of the universe, the love that is there coming in, the grief and the despair just dissipate. It's like mist, just dissipating on a beautiful hot summer's morning. And the mist from the night just gets pushed away. And what is left is beautiful lovingness for self. Self-love is allowed to grow. Self-love becomes an awareness that there is nothing but possibilities in this world, nothing but possibilities in the life. And as the possibilities grow, there comes that peace. There comes the connection. So instead of really feeling alone and nothing that I can see, do, and that I've done right, always self-condemning, it's as though it's a beautiful rainbow and a letting go of all the grief and the despair and all the other aspects comes the radiant light of the universal love force that says that you are loved beyond measure, that you are special like all beings. But it's the feeling of being special. It's the knowing that you're special. It's knowing that you are loved regardless of whatever you have done or said or been. Because the essence of you that first sprang out a long time ago, full of beingness, of life, learning, growing as you grew through probably many different aspects, many different lifetimes here, many different planets and aspirations, but it's like letting go and allowing your heart to open up to possibilities of happiness. Opening up to the awareness that life gives, does not take away. We as humans can take away, and we can sink into that despair, that grief of feeling it's not for us, but it's for everybody else. It's just a little step. It's the allowing to that love to come in. It's the willingness to let go a little bit of the despair, a little bit of the dark, a little bit of the grief, and allow the light in. It's like opening the blinds on your house and letting the sunshine in. It's like being brave about knowing that you are sufficient, that you are loved for you, that you are loved in the light, that you are embraced in all ways, for there is only one power and one essence, and that power loves you beyond measure. And it's not about what you've done or haven't done or should have done or could have done. It's about you recognizing and acknowledging possibilities of letting go and embracing light/love. I know there's one power. I know that essence works. And I know that if one Mr. J decides, because it's all about decisions, that all will open up for him. And it's a new life, a new world, and new experiences. And I give thanks in the knowing of this. I give thanks in knowing that Mr. J can let go, even if it's just a little. But he can open those blinds, let the sun in, let his heart once more feel the radiation of the lovingness of the divine. I give thanks in the knowing of this. I give thanks in knowing that this is done, can be done, will be done. And as I release this thought, knowing it is true for Mr. J, I know the power that can happen by just letting go and being all that you are truly in the very big depths of yourself. And so we release this thought knowing it is true, it is done. And so it is. Okay. That was powerful, actually, for me. I hope that as you were listening, you got a sense of that. Well, that's all that's on my list, and there's nobody else on my monitor here. So I guess this is it. So I always like now to just a minute. Now I've got an itchy nose. First, my throat doesn't want to break. Now I've got an itchy nose. Well, it happens. We are humans, and we have things that go on that maybe we prefer not to. So I'm just going to give a little thought for all of us. I know there is one power, and I know that the love of life is there for each one of us if we will accept it in and feel it and know that we are worthy. Any unworthiness that we have comes from our guilt, our regrets, and a non-acceptance of ourselves, and especially the non-acceptance that we are loved beyond measure. the allowing of worthiness, the allowing of knowing that we have value. We can let go anything that blocks that, because by being here on planet Earth at this time, you have value. By being in this carnation, no matter what you have experienced and what you have done, you have value. And I can speak this for myself as the knowingness I have value. I have a sense no matter what, when, and where. It is the movement of expression into that light of being, so that no matter how hard things get, knowing that you can come through it, knowing that there is more to achieve, more to have, more to be, in a peaceful way, in a movement way where love is the basis, where the respect and the honoring of self is reflected into respect and honoring of others. Knowing that what you desire and want within your life, and that you just allow it to happen without pushing and pulling and making it work. There is one light, there is one love, and it belongs within you. And it is within you, actually, it's within you. And you want to nurture it and bring it forward. And this is what I want these Monday nights to be for people, to be able to let go and bring forth the love that's within you, the peace that's within you, the clarity that's within you, the feeling of this, like I have tonight, several with wanting financial security or independence, having business issues resolved, having spiritual support, having goals easily reached. All of these come from an understanding that the light is there for you. And they're letting that light in, which light is another name for love. And as I've gone on often about how the universal love force is so there if we allow it and don't let our minds get in the way. Don't stop the absolute movement through in the direction of where we want. You are at one with all that there is. You are beautiful, worthy, magnificent. And sometimes when we first begin, it's hard to acknowledge that because we feel guilty or regretful over things. And this is where self-forgiveness is so important. You persevere to be at one with the light. You persevere with understanding that there is so much more to bring about. There is love. It's real. Can you see it? Can you touch it? You can if you bring it inside. Then you can feel it. You can touch. That's how I first got it, was I felt it out there and I pulled it inside, and then I let it grow inside. And when I get back into my head, no, I have to breathe back down again, because it's part of all of us. It's not in your head. We fill our head full of thoughts. We fill our heads full of thoughts. And the key is you got to think, because that sets the parameters of what the universe knows what to bring you. And sometimes, of course, there's some things that you affect from other people. But if you have your right thinking, if you have the right feeling within your heart, and you will know what to do. Doesn't mean that life is always some great big parade going on. It's about you discovering the power of who you are. And on that note, I'm just going to say thank you to the beautiful light that works with me, for the beautiful ones that come to bring me clarity, and for you that show up and write your questions or have contacted me at some point and let me know what it is you need. I give thanks for this. I give thanks for being able to be here to do this. And I give thanks for every single person who listens, subscribes, makes comments. So appreciated as we move forward. I give lots of love to you all. And until next week, but I'll see you Wednesday and again on Sunday. And I'll be back next Monday. Blessings to all of you. Night.